What is the refrigerator invented for? To store products for a longer time. Everything is logical. But very often we put in the refrigerator those products that don't really belong there, which deteriorate faster from the refrigerator, lose their properties, and in general, they need to be stored in the wrong place. And some of these products in this list will be very unexpected for you, so watch it to the end. In it we will analyze in detail which products should not be stored in the refrigerator. So let's go. By the way, friends, be sure to subscribe to my channel, and click on the bell too, do not miss my new products. So, the number one product is potatoes. By the way, it is not by chance that it is stored in the cellar in the villages. This is a pretty good option, because it's still better than a refrigerator. So that's what's wrong with a potato refrigerator. And the thing is that in the cold that is maintained in the refrigerator, potato starch will be converted directly into glucose. And it is not recommended to consume excess sugar, as I have said many times on this channel. Moreover, the taste qualities of potatoes will also deteriorate. Moreover, it has been proven that if we store potatoes at a temperature lower than +3 degrees, after which we cook it, then carcinogens begin to form in this potato, that is, it is already dangerous for our health. The next product that is not recommended to be stored in the refrigerator is onions. The thing is that in the refrigerator, this very onion can get moldy. I think you might have noticed such a picture. It happens periodically, especially if there is a little bit of high humidity. So, it is necessary to store onions in the same way as potatoes, in a dry and slightly cool room. That is, not in such a cold as a refrigerator. And there is one more thing, never store potatoes and onions together in one pile. The thing is that when they lie together, the rotting processes only begin to activate, and the product spoils much faster, and becomes covered with mold. So always separate the onions and potatoes. Let's move on. The next item is honey. In fact, honey is such a unique product that practically has no expiration date. And often, if we look at the packaging of honey, it even says so directly. The shelf life is not limited. There are even certain calculations that a good real high-quality honey, without any additives, has a shelf life of about 2,000 years. Well, it certainly sounds cool. I do not know who checked it, but nevertheless, in general, there is enough for our century with a margin. So, for these reasons, putting honey in the refrigerator does not make any sense. It will be quite well stored at room temperature. Moreover, it is recommended to store honey in a dark closet so that sunlight does not fall on it, because this destroys some useful elements that are in it. But if we put honey in the refrigerator, it will negatively affect its physical consistency. Will just break its viscosity. And another life hack: if you bought honey and put it in the freezer, that is, at minus temperature, and the honey remained liquid, then it means that the technology was violated during the production of such honey. And this is not high-quality honey, which has no practical benefits for our body. Let's move on. The next item is citrus fruits. This includes oranges, lemons, grapefruits, pomelo, and so on. Oddly enough, it is also not recommended to put them in the refrigerator. And the thing is that there they will deteriorate much faster, rot and mold. Let's move on. Greens. Here's an interesting point. We very often really put greens in the refrigerator. But what does it lead to? Greens begin to wither very quickly, and they also lose their vitamins and useful antioxidants quite quickly as a result of these processes. And we eat greens largely due to its potential benefits. And people sometimes do even worse when they put greens in the refrigerator in a bag. Here, in a plastic wrap, we simply guarantee that all our greens will moldy very quickly. And of course, it will be impossible and unnecessary to eat it. By the way, there is also one point here. If we have some small lump of mold in a large package, it does not mean that we can just throw out this lump of mold and calmly eat the product for ourselves. No. If mold appears, you need to throw out the whole package. Because if we remove this lump, we remove just the tip of the iceberg. But in fact, mold spores have already spread 100% throughout the product. We just don't see them, but they are there. And you can't eat them. Therefore, if the product is moldy, do not just cut off this slice. Perhaps we will have to get rid of the whole product, unfortunately. So it's not worth bringing it up to this. So, how is it right to store greens? Here, oddly enough, nutritionists recommend freezing greens in the freezer. And this is the best option from the point of view of preserving their taste qualities and their useful vitamins and minerals. Moreover, a number of studies have shown that freezing greens is even more correct than drying them, because the taste and vitamins are also preserved better. Let's move on. The next item is olive oil. Well, I think many of us have noticed that if you put olive oil in the refrigerator, it just freezes and becomes hard. And here, by the way, there is also a certain life hack, how to check olive oil for a fake. One way is to put it in the refrigerator, and if it is not frozen, if it has not become solid, then it is 100% likely fake olive oil. But on the other hand, some fakes are quite high quality, and they also freeze. Therefore, if the oil is still frozen, then this is not a guarantee of the quality of the product. So let's move on. The optimal temperature for olive oil is from 12 to 16 degrees Celsius. But here, of course, to have a separate refrigerator for wine, in which we will put olive oil to maintain such a temperature. It's probably quite exquisite. Therefore, it is absolutely acceptable to store olive oil at room temperature. Let's move on. Garlic. I think many of us have noticed how garlic, which has been lying in our refrigerator for some time, begins to germinate at an unprecedented speed, and already there are just some trees growing out of it. Although it would seem that it's cold, life should stop, but no, it's just beginning in garlic. And the taste qualities are also falling. Because of the humidity, garlic becomes soft and completely useless for cooking. Therefore, again, dryness and light coolness are mandatory. And by the way, it has long been noticed that products such as potatoes, onions, garlic, are never recommended to be stored in tight packages, that is, where there is no normal air circulation. Because this too, all contributes to germination and decay. The only exception is already peeled onions. Here it is really acceptable to wrap it in a package. In other cases, no. Let's move on. Watermelon. If we bought a good, juicy watermelon, it is not recommended to put it in the refrigerator, because this will lead to a loss of benefit from it. In particular, we will lose very valuable carotenoids, which are so useful for our body. The only exception is if we have already opened the watermelon and cut it into slices. Here it really remains only to put it in the refrigerator. And oddly enough, it's worth covering it in the refrigerator with a film after all. That is, wrapped in sealed polyethylene. By the way, friends, do you put these products in the refrigerator? Either not, or maybe you still know examples of how to store some products correctly. Share it in the comments, it will be interesting. And now I highly recommend you to watch my other video, where I tell you about 10 amazing facts about food that you probably didn't know. The video is very interesting, and the link to it you have just appeared on the screen, as well as the link I left in the description. And pinned it in the top comment, be sure to look. And if you like this video, then like and subscribe to my channel. And we'll see you on that very video, about 10 amazing facts about food. See you later.